So again, let's just welcome everyone. It is 28th. If you remember yesterday, yesterday's morning trade plan, I spoke about the end of month rally, which we pretty much had yesterday. And I don't know how much meat is left on the bone, because if you look at where we've come from, we actually traded a traditional on the overnight that went all the way to pretty much my weekly target that I've pretty much been wanting this whole week, which is pretty much just a retest of these equal highs. And we came up this morning to that level, and so far we have rejected it. It is back into support, and if we look on the daily where this comes from, if you remember, this is the high to high that we traded the negative 100, traded the extension on that, and you know, where we are now is pretty much support. But if this breaks, we just printed a reversal bar to the downside. And pretty much if we stay below 509s, you know, there's room to come all the way back into at some point, back down into a full halfway back from these lows at 21,145, which is only 300 points below, right? And that's still in support. From where we are now, you know, that is only 300 points below. And if we're still above this level, we're still strong in terms of support. So obviously we have deeper extensions, more aggressive high to highs in this sequence where we are now. So, you know, 460s to 440s is where you kind of want price to hold. And if you can stick around and get back over that area, then obviously we can come back up into these highs. The only thing you have to ask yourself is, from a risk to reward point of view, where do you want to put risk on? Now, you can put risk on here, of course. It's just, since you've had such a large move up and we have just taken out that high from the most recent high from this month, that is a huge level. So that is a big level. So for me, I'm going to try to be less aggressive today. I took a small amount of trades on the overnight session, nothing too crazy, just a couple of the high to highs. I was going to wait to the open, but I did see a couple setups that were quite nice. So the only thing that I'd be paying attention to, since we have traded, if you look back from yesterday, we have traded on the close, we did trade the extension on the high to high from the overnight on Tuesday. That has gone all the way to its negative 62. That negative 100 is above at 617s, which I will put an alert on there. The same man can do high of that draw is where we've currently found support. So 463s is kind of like where we are at the moment. Again, bears are going to want to push this down and not really get above 510s if they want to see this come back down. I don't short. I try not to. I try not to short bullish moves in terms of when we are in a bullish trend. I would rather buy pullbacks as opposed to short the highs, okay? And what I mean by that is shorting into long completions, right? As good as it can be, I would much rather just wait for deeper pullbacks. And if we get it, that would be a full... at some point this will trade. At some point we will come back down into 21,147. Whether we do that today, I don't know, but it is only 300 points below, so it's not that crazy to think. But until that, it's going to be holding above where we currently are. The only other extension that I would draw is pretty much just look at the RTH. So have a look what draws we. In fact, I'm going to do that on a separate chart. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I'm going to do that on this chart here just to keep this separate. So on the RTH, the extensions that I'd be paying attention to, obviously we have FOMC's traditional. That high has traded, and I don't think, but let me just double check, this traded here. We then traded the high yesterday. God, that was such a sexy trade. That was such a good trade. I fumbled the bag. And then the high to high has traded. The same Ankanu high hasn't yet traded. We are in that now. So yeah, you really want to be, you know, this is the area to be cautiously cautiously long. And to be honest, I wouldn't even really be long in this area. But if you really have to take a trade, this is the area that I'd be looking for a long. The only reason I'm not going to take it is because the liquidity, in my opinion, has already been taken. So that doesn't mean we can't come back up to these highs, but I would much rather wait to get back above these highs to then form this as the support. Right now, this is just, I treat this basically like completing negative 23. We've touched it, we haven't closed above. So there's nothing saying this can't just come all the way back down into a traditional, which we still need to see, because for the market to be efficient, we still need to have rebalances. So we still need to come down to, at some point, 195s. So 195s is going to be that level that is going to trade at some point, and when it does, in my opinion, that will be solid support. So all of this area here for me, there just isn't anything in this for me for a long. So I don't think I'll take a long trade today unless we get down to this 195s, which is 300 points below, which is, I mean, it's possible, it's just unlikely. 280s to the downside, which would put you at, I mean, the average range is 280, so it could happen, but we've already traded 116, so it would be above ATR. So I don't think it's likely. What I would say is probably more likely is that we probably hold that cautiously long area, which is 460s to 390s, which is, how many points is that? 70 points? Yeah, like 70 points. So I just don't love it. But I mean, yeah, be cautious in this area. Maybe you find a traditional in here that holds. And if it does, great, take the trade. But for me, I'm going to wait to see if we can actually get back above this area. Because I feel like this is going to chop around for a little bit. And I think we potentially find some support. And then for me, it would be much easier to take a trade like this than trying to trade this. Just personally. Again, I do think we come back up to these highs. I just don't know when. So because I don't know when, I would rather just wait for that to happen. And then when that does happen, since we haven't got above and closed above just yet, wait for it to get above and then trade the traditional, trade the under over, trade the break and retest. And that's three things right there. Under over, break and retest, and a traditional long. Like, that's just textbook. And then your setup looks a lot cleaner in terms of, obviously you wouldn't risk the 62 there. You could risk these lows, these double bottom lows. And your setup, to me, would just be so much nicer, even just trying to target the 62 as a 2.5R, as opposed to trying to just mess about in here. It's just not worth it for me. So, yeah, I'll probably be on mute for a little bit whilst I let this trade set up, and then if we do get into that territory, i.e. back up to those highs, I'll jump on the mic, but I don't know if that's going to happen in the AM session. So I'll set some alerts at this area here, 550, 562s, and if we do get back up there, brilliant. If not, I'm probably not going to do too much today.